Okay, guys, welcome to day 3 of boot camp. Today, we are going to be looking at all things consumer facing, including our agent website and our mobile app. So we are going to dig in first with our agent sites. So when Scott Leroy Marketing set up your technology for you, he did some of the basics of your website. So it is functioning, it is searchable for homes, which is the main thing that we are looking for. My website happens to be myname.kw.com. You would have given 3 options for what you wanted your website address to be. And he would have set that up for you. So this is the home screen of our website. So I do recommend that you guys get to this website, play around with it, search on it, all that kind of fun stuff, so that when your clients ask you about it, you know how to answer their questions. That's a super important thing to be able to do. And so this is what the clients and the public see. And then to access the back end of this in command, yours won't have the same pictures that mine has in the background because I changed mine out. So you guys probably have some just stock images, which are still beautiful. But I just so happen to have purchased some pictures of Winston-Salem throughout the years. And so I uploaded those as my background. To access this, you're going to go to your last applet on the left. And there's a scary movie called Last House on the Left or something. It always makes me think of it when I say this. So we're going to click on consumer. And it is going to default us to our agent site pages tab. So you can see I've built several pages throughout the years of having this website. The ones that are grayed out are not active. The ones that are teal are active, right? And so at the top, you're going to see your configured agent site web address right here. And you can even click on it and it would open your website for you. So if you ever forget what it is, you can come here and find it. And we're going to look at all of these tabs here in just a second. But the first thing that we're going to do is come over here to the site and app settings in the upper right corner. Site and app settings. So if you're following along, go ahead and click on that. Okay. So now we are here. Agent site hero text. Okay. So this is this right here in the middle of our screen. So if you have your own tagline, if you have something that you're, wanting to use, I think when you first have it set up, it says find your dream home, if I'm not mistaken. I changed that out, and this is where you can do that. This is where you can change out your photos. So you can have up to 5 images that scroll through the background of your home screen. And they just have to be super high resolution, 1200 by 1200 pixels. I'm not saying to go to Google and search for pictures that you want. Could you do it? Yes. Could you run the risk of copyright infringement? Yes. I purchased these pictures myself for marketing in the past, so I already had them. But wherever you want to get your pictures from, you can use it to your liking. Like if you get a new listing, one of your value propositions can be your house is going to be featured on the home screen of my website for the first 2 weeks it's listed. And you could choose to only have one background picture that just stayed stagnant. You don't have to have the scroll, but you can only have a maximum of 5. So by far and away, one of the easiest ways to customize your website, because it takes up the mass majority of the screen. I have some teams like, show you Greta's. They chose to put their team picture in the background of their website. Maybe I went to the wrong one. Hold on. Greta Fry. Let me see if that works better. Oh, she changed her web address. That's my bad. Here we go. So there's Greta's thing up here, and then that's her team. So that's what she chose to use as a background image, just so you guys get an idea of how you can kind of switch that out, right, to whatever you would like for it to show. Cool deal. Pretty simple. You hit the trash can, you upload the picture that you want to replace, right? Keep
Hey,
scrolling down.
Monica,
Go ahead.
we use Canva Pro a lot for our church stuff. I mean, can you upload something from that? I mean, that's legal to use those, isn't it? I mean, if we've paid for Canva Pro.
Yeah, and Joseph's on twice. We're going to mute you on that one. No, you're good, honey. No worries. What we have in Command, we have a designs platform in Command. And so there are also that is kind of like Canva, right?
Mhm.
So, we'll look at designs tomorrow, and there are agent site hero images. That's what they're called in designs. So they're sized for this. You can pick out what you want. But yes, I mean, theoretically speaking, if you have something you like in Canva, right, as long as it's 1200 by 1200 pixels, because they're pretty high resolution, and they'll look grainy if they're smaller than that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm running into. I was supposed to create an email signature, and you can do that in Canva, but I don't really know how to, number one, just like have it be on all of my emails. I Googled it and I tried to go through those steps,
do that,
but it looks grainy.
Yep, and there are email signatures in designs as well, and I'll show you what mine looks like. So my, come on. Here we go, like so. So this image right here is what I got out of designs, right? You can change the background color, edit all the text, put your headshot in there. And so all you do in order to get this, and then I added all this extra stuff, right? So this picture of the phone came from designs, and then I linked it to my website right here, or to my, where you download my app, right?
Okay.
So that's what that looks like. And in order to do that in Google, you just hit the gear icon and you go to see all settings. And as you scroll down, you have the spot for your signature right here. And so I just, pasted anything I wanted in there. Since it's such a small box, I actually usually kind of lay it out like in a Word document or a Google document so I can see how it's going to look. And I just take the whole thing and copy it and paste it in there. It makes it a lot easier than trying to actually work in that little box.
That's what I ended up doing, but mine didn't look like this. But I think I went to Gmail instead of just Google settings. So that maybe that's
in my Gmail. I'm just in my KW.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Mine looks different from that. I don't know, but I'll try it again. I appreciate that. And I'll look in designs.
Yeah, no worries. No worries at all.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. So download App Hero text. And what that is, speaking of this link in my email, if you click on this in my email, it's going to bring you to this download page. And so it's going to say, curious about what's trending in your neighborhood, ready to make a move, download my app, right? It's going to have your picture, see what my app can do, right? So this is that page. Okay. So, I mean, really, that's all that is. So there we go. We can add virtual tours. So if you have a virtual tour of a listing, you have to select the listing and then you can add the virtual tour to it. And under this preferences button, this is where you can enable or disable Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered, which is our insurance, and displaying neighborhoods on our agent websites. So let's look at what the neighborhoods are. If you have never logged into Nextdoor, nextdoor.com, go check it out. See if your neighborhood exists in here, because the neighborhoods on Nextdoor are the neighborhoods that power the neighborhoods in KW Command. Okay. Is it a flawless system? It is not, but it is being worked on and growing. Okay. So we are partners with Nextdoor. They are working on giving us the ability as the agents who have access to all the tax records and all that kind of stuff to fix any neighborhood boundaries that are drawn incorrectly, to create neighborhoods that don't yet exist. We don't have that capability yet. So if you notice that your neighborhood does not exist in Nextdoor, you can become the founding member of your neighborhood by creating it on Nextdoor. Okay. And vice versa, if you wanted to put your brother on a monthly neighborhood nurture and you notice that your brother's neighborhood did not exist, you could ask your brother, your cousin, your mother, whoever, friend, neighbor, whatever, to become the founding member of the neighborhood in Nextdoor. The more neighborhoods that we have in here, the more neighborhoods we're going to have in command. Okay. So on our websites, I'm just going to search. I'm going to click into the bar. I'm going to click the current location just so it's pinpointing where I actually am. And you will see those blue boundaries pop up. Those blue boundaries are all the different neighborhoods that are around me. Granted, I live in the heart of Winston-Salem, right? So lots of people knew what Nextdoor was. Lots of people have already gone onto Nextdoor and they have created neighborhoods. So this one is Sherwood Forest, which is where I live. Old Sherwood Forest, technically, right? And then you can see like the Sherwood Forest Road, South Fork. Keep in mind, these are not subdivisions, y'all. These are lovingly known as neighborhoods, right? Because my subdivision is Sherwood Forest. However, the part that I live in is called Old Sherwood Forest. If you live here, you call it Old Sherwood. Across Peacehaven Road, you are now in New Sherwood Forest, right? So there's Peacehaven Road, and here's New Sherwood Forest, right? And that's just what they're called when you live here. Now, some of them are named by subdivision, like the person who created the neighborhood did title it by subdivision. But you do have the ability to turn those boundaries off if you want. Where people usually run into an issue, I'll scroll out a little bit. Let me get my bearings here. If I'm here and I go that way, I'm going to start going out further into the more rural areas. Let everything catch up with me. And then if I start scrolling in, you're going to see much larger neighborhood boundaries because somebody who lived there wanted to use Nextdoor and they just, you know, created these giant boundaries. So that's why they're working with us to try to get, you know, enable us to fix these issues, right? And add neighborhoods as real estate agents. But just wanted to make that known to you. That is what powers our neighborhoods, is this program right here. So are there any questions on that? Because I do get a lot of questions about where are the neighborhoods from? What do they mean? How do I make a new one? My neighborhood's wrong, right? I had an agent that said she's in Greensboro and she lives in like a subset of a bigger subdivision that's like in the back, and her houses were brought into the bigger neighborhood, but her houses were much more expensive than the bigger neighborhood. And so she wanted it to be separated. So for right now, if you run into something like that, your first order of business is to contact Nextdoor until we get more functionality here. Okay.
Yeah, I looked at this the other night, and I'm in Miller Road Forest in Mount Airy. And so what I could tell is it's pretty much just there's one Mount Airy neighborhood. So, and I don't know if I'm just looking at it wrong, but
I run into this with our people that are in Sparta, people that are out in Yadkinville, Moxville, you know, anywhere that's not like the heart of a city, like where I am. Like you saw how many neighborhoods were there for me in Winston-Salem. I mean, it's just because people out there they just hadn't used it, right?
Yeah.
So, but
I'd never heard of it.
There's, you know, the fact that all these neighborhoods exist is not always a great thing either, because some of them are really, really tiny. Therefore, if you're trying to put somebody on a monthly neighborhood nurture and there's like 20 houses in the boundary, there's bound not to be very much activity there on a regular basis. right? So
You wouldn't suggest making, I mean, that's probably what's in my neighborhood in this subdivision, maybe 20
yeah,
homes.
but that's why I always say in a contacts card, don't just give them one neighborhood, because even here in Old Sherwood Forest, which is a large neighborhood, right now we only have 2 houses for sale. Right.
Yeah.
So I usually do Old Sherwood Forest, New Sherwood, like I do a couple of neighborhoods around me if I'm putting people on one, so that they always get some data. Right.
Okay. So
Uh,
I'm thinking
go
maybe
ahead.
just like a South Franklin and a North Franklin thing, because that's kind of the main drag, that people reference around.
Mhm.
Cool.
And this will get better. The people that have joined us that are newer, haven't been here since the beginning of Command. When we first developed it, we were the first company, the first real estate company to build our own platform that we owned, right? So their goal was to get there first, and we went really wide with everything that we encompassed, but we didn't go very deep. So they wanted to get our website and our app and the contacts and the transactional stuff and get it all built. And now we're going deeper. So like last night where I posted that smart plans and contacts and stuff are going to go down for a few hours, it's because we're just deepening what we have and making it more robust and making it better. And I've never seen it, but from what I've heard, there's like a whole new version of our websites waiting in the wings, but it's just not ready. But the good thing is, and I know that Donna knows this, I saw Donna pop in. Well, I don't even think Donna was at KW yet when this happened. But when you're using third-party vendors and you decide to change it for an entire office, much less a national worldwide type of office. When I first got to KW 6 years ago, we used market leader websites. And it was about like 2 weeks after I started that they decided we're not going to use these websites anymore. We're going to use Playster. And what an S show that was, because everybody had to change it over. Everybody had to take action. Back then, I think we had like 145 agents that were now running around with their hair on fire because their websites didn't work anymore. Right. So now, because we own it and manage it and control it, if they roll out this brand new website that they have hanging in the wings for us, it takes no action on our part. They already have all of our data. So it's just going to go bing and be new. Right. Wow. So that's going to be really nice that we never have to do the running around with our hair on fire anymore. Right. Because that was not a fun time, if I'm being quite candid. Thankfully, I wasn't on the leadership team at that point in time. So I got to do the complaining instead of the fixing. But nonetheless, they're really building out a lot for us. And so that being said, I want to talk about the purpose of these websites. This is not search for Winston-Salem homes for sale and Monica Perry shows up at the top of your search engine. They're not optimized for search engine optimization. That's not what they're built for. What have I told you about real estate this week? It is a contact sport. It is a relationship-based business. You have to stay in front of your people. You have to be in front of people when they decide to make the decision to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. The same can be said for our websites. So your goal is to put your website and put your app into the hands of every single person that you know. And one of the value propositions you can give them for that is if you go to something that rhymes with pillow, you're going to get about 50 phone calls from 50 different real estate agents. If you're searching for homes on my website, only I know about it. Right? No one's buying your data. No one's capturing your data. You're searching, and I'm the only one that knows that you're searching. So that is the goal of these websites. That being said, there are folks that want search engine optimization. That is part of their lead generation model. If that's the case, that's just fine, right? That's just fine. You can pay to have websites built that are optimized for doing that. And some people have even integrated this into it. And the reason that they have is because of this right here. So when you are like, hey, Betty Buyer that I knew from high school, I would love for you to be able to search for homes on my website, guaranteed that your data is safe, your name, your phone number are all safe, searching for homes when you're on my website. They have to have an account in order for you to see their activity. Okay. So you have two ways. Here's my website. Make sure you create an account. What's the percentage chance that they actually will? I don't know, 50-50, maybe, right? Or your conversation starter could be, I would love for you to get to search for homes on my website and interact with me through it. Can I set you up an account? Can I set you up an account? Right? That way you know that it gets done. Okay. If they had never been in your website or they weren't a contact in your command app at the time, I want you to see what happens. This is my recommended way to get somebody searching on your website and app. And the easiest way for you to set it up for them is through your website, but it's still the same login. So you're just going to go to your own website. Okay. And you're going to click the sign up button.
I get an error page when I open mine.
Did you put www in front of it?
No.
So let me hold on. Let me pull something off camera here. Bear with me 1 second. I want to be showing everybody your passwords.
That's all right.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to look up and see. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm just on my other screen for a sec.
That's all right.
That is because in your setup email from Scott Leroy, it says that there was an error. So I will look at that
Okay.
as soon as I'm done with this and find out what's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Happy to help with that. Okay. So you're going to click sign up. You're going to go to your own website. You're going to click sign up and you're going to say, okay, I have to think of another name. I don't think I've used Brittany. I met Brittany Buyer at the grocery store, and Brittany Buyer at gmail.com is her email address. So I'm creating her an account with her permission, with her email address. With her permission, with her email address. Do not go do this without asking before you do it. Okay. And guess what? You can make her password, her phone number. And that way you're like, here, Brittany, here's the link to download my app. You can log in with your email address and your cell phone number. It's already set up for you, right? So you can just set it up with that. And then once she gets in there, of course, you tell her that she is free to reset. What's happening with my keyboard here? Sorry about that.
You're doing it on your page. They could do the same thing for themselves if they wanted, but it's just kind of helping them get there.
They can do it themselves, but counting on other people to do stuff is never the best option. So guess what just happened? Because Brittany wasn't in my command database, right? I ran into her. I hadn't seen her since I was 17. Okay. In command, because I just created her that account. Just to do a little refresh here. Just to make sure. Agent site notification, new site registration received from Brittany Buyer. If I click on that, I think I just saw somebody that said they were trying to join. Oops. So see there, it has created Brittany a contacting command.
Now, if they're in your contacts and you tell somebody and they go in and create it, does it tell them they're already in your contacts, or does it just
No,
meld it?
the only thing it'll do is see how Brittany's got this little check mark.
Yeah.
That means that she is connected to my agent website with an account, right?
Okay.
So if I'd had Brittany in here already, she wouldn't have had that check mark. And then once we had an account, the check mark would appear.
Absolutely. Nice.
Okay. And if she had come in, maybe I shared my website on my Facebook page and said, if you're looking for homes recently reduced in the Winston-Salem area, check my website. And somebody went there and filled out the thing and created an account. They're also going to be tagged as a lead. So they're going to have that little L. Okay.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yep. Oh, that makes sense.
Right? That it creates an account for them.
Yep.
Right.
That makes more sense of the lead part, and I was filling in contacts.
Good. Okay. So now I'm just going to interact as Brittany. And this is how I want you guys to set. I want you guys to set yourself up an account as a consumer. You don't have to use your own name if that makes it confusing for you, especially when I go to show you the mobile app. If it has your name at the top and then your name is the consumer, some people get confused by it. So that's why I set up Dakota, my dog. Right. I usually am interacting as him when I'm looking through the eyes of the consumer. But today we're just going to be Brittany so you can see what's going to happen. So Brittany is now like, okay, cool. I'm on this website. I want to go look around. Okay. So she clicked her area and she's like, ooh, an agent pick. That's because I have that highlighted as a spotlight listing. So that's why that says agent pick. She can click onto the homes, hover and see what it is. Derbyshire, right down the street. Let me look at this house. Right. So she's in here looking around. And she's like, oh, super cute. Look at all these pictures. So come on here, create yourself an account, interact with it. Think about if you were buying a house, what you would be doing, what you would be looking at, right? You'd want to look through all the photos. And then guess what she can do? She can say, I love this house, heart. I can create a new collection. I can add it to my favorites. I can leave a note about the house. Love the interior remodel, right? Save. There's the Keller mortgage. There's the Keller covered, right? We looked at where you could turn those off if you didn't want to use them, but I do recommend that you look and see what Keller mortgage and Keller covered are about, because there was a case, it was not in North Carolina, thankfully, but an agent in a different state gave her 3 lenders as an option to her client. She did not include Keller mortgage as one of those lenders. Okay. That client's friend bought a house with a Keller Williams agent who did recommend Keller mortgage as an option. Okay. They bought houses pretty close to each other, pretty close to the same price. The friend that used Keller mortgage saved about $6,000 or $7,000 over the one that didn't use it. So guess what the one that didn't get recommended to Keller mortgage did? She sued the agent for not telling her. Right?
Wow.
So I'm not saying push Keller mortgage. I'm saying offer it as an option. I used Keller mortgage to refinance this house and rolled in my home equity line of credit on our mortgage, on our rental house. And it saved us $800 a month. Yeah, it's a lot, right? That's a lot of money. Got us a much better interest rate too. And then 6 months after we did the refinance, they called us back and said, we can get your mortgage rate lower, your interest rate. Do you want us to do that? And we were like, yeah. So now it's even lower. Right. So give it as an option so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Okay. But meanwhile, Brittany's been looking around the website. Probably some of this other stuff I was working on. Speed this up a little bit. And look what I'm seeing in her contact card. She added a new home to her collection. She's looking at listings. Right? I can click the thing to see which house she's looking at. So we're going to keep looking around. Watch what else you can do that I just love. This is one of my favorite things.
No,
Go ahead,
if
Joseph.
somebody like anybody clicks on that in your agent and she's looking at them, do you give her a couple days before you check in, or you just send them an email, say, I noticed you clicked on, you checked this out, is there any interest in?
Depends. It just depends on like how much activity. If somebody's had an account on my website for 3 months and all of a sudden I see them hearting 20 houses, I'm probably going to call that person. Right? Because maybe they were working on their credit or something and now they feel like they're getting closer. So I'm probably going to call that person at that point. Right? So it's just going to depend on the person. But remember, we're trying to put this in the hands of people that we know and everyone that we meet. Right? So these aren't random Zillow leads. These are people that we're actually in conversations with. Right? So then you're the judge of what call needs to be made. Right? But this is one of my favorite things. She can click on this neighborhood. Okay. And see this up here in the upper right corner. She can follow Old Sherwood Forest. She can follow the whole neighborhood. So that anything that pops up in it, she's going to get notifications on it in her feed up here at the top. Okay. And then check out this neighborhood page. I'm going to click on Explore Neighborhood. I love these. It's like 7 websites in one on these neighborhood pages.
If they have the app, they could also have notifications pop up on their phone for that.
They get push notifications. And I've got the phone sharing to the computer. So in a minute, we're going to look at the app too. It's essentially the exact same thing, just in a mobile version. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So now that she's looking at Old Sherwood Forest, she gets to see the outline of the neighborhood. Okay. What are locals saying about it? What's the walkability score? So let's start looking. This is like an overview. Okay. Move down. Market snapshot of the current statistics. Average days on market. Recently sold. Average sold price. Keep scrolling. She gets to see properties that are for sale. There's another website built into this one website. Scroll again. What do locals say about living in this neighborhood? I can tell you this is true. There's a whole lot of animals in this neighborhood. Everybody is extremely friendly. We do have a lot of dogs. We are civically engaged. We do like all of these things, handmade culture and yoga and gardening and daytime leisure and outdoorsy. Yes, all of this is true, right? So they're getting that data. Transit and commute. What if she wants to know, well, how long would it take me to get to work? There's the map that shows her how long. 7 minutes to get to work from that house, from that neighborhood. Right? What if she wants to know, how long would it take me to drive to my brother's? One hour and 12 minutes. How long would it take me to get to my kid's school? How long would it take me to get to whatever it is she's trying to get to? Right? Including biking and walking. Nearby schools. Another website. Right? These are the schools. This is provided by Precisely and is subject to change. So that gives you that disclosure there, right? And my favorite, you have Yelp built right into the neighborhood page. So they get to look at the restaurants that are around them, stores that are around them, arts and entertainment, fitness, all the different stuff that is around their potential new home. Pretty sweet, right? Nearby neighborhoods, maybe they like this area and there's nothing for sale right now. Well, what's close to it that I could look at? Right, so there's other neighborhoods, and then it's just got your branding down here at the bottom. So I love these neighborhood pages. I think they're super cool. All right, so let's look at search. I'm going to show you guys something. A question I get a lot, like Greta's team. No shade on Greta's team. They know how much I love them. They wanted their picture in the background, so I showed them how to do that. But a lot of people are like, well, when somebody logs into my website, you don't see my face. You don't see my name. You don't see anything about me. We're real estate agents. We love ourselves. I get it. I am one, so I can say things freely, in my opinion. You want to know why? Because people don't care. They want to search for houses. When you go to something that rhymes with pillow, whose face do you see up there? No one's. Right? No one's. If you go to realtor.com, search bar. That is why people go to real estate websites, is to search for houses. Then if they want to know something, they want someone to ask. So that's why it's your job to get them on your website, as opposed to these two that are the most highly visited websites out there. Right? Because if they click on this house and want to know more about it, guess what's going to happen? Kim Martin's going to call them. Or if they fill this out, whoever paid the most for this zip code is going to call them. Right? So no, these are not built to promote you, right? They're built to give someone a place to search for houses. But you do have this drop down with an About Me page. This should have been installed by Scott Rory's team for you. Whatever biography, if you gave him one, will show up. If you did not give him one, you will have a generic biography that you can edit. Okay. So you'll have an About Me page. You'll have a page that looks like this that I've customized. Again, yours will be generic, but you have the ability to go in and edit it, right? So what I chose to use this page for myself, everybody's always like, what's an MCTT? It's a Market Center Tech Trainer. So I talk about what that is, what I do for my job, and I am still licensed and I can still help my past, present, and future clients buy, sell, and invest in real estate by connecting them with an agent, right? And how can I help you? Because not only can I help my agents learn technology, I can also help my clients by sending them to somebody who fits what they need. I can also help any of my friends learn how to go to real estate school for free to start with and start on their path to get their real estate license, right? And you guys can do all of those things too. So don't pigeonhole yourself into the real estate sales. You can grow your profit share, you can grow your referral business, and you can grow your real estate business all at the same time, right? Diversify those income streams. So that page is there for you. But again, it will just be generic. I'm going to show you where to edit it. Okay. Leave me a review. This is a page that you have to add. This is not pre-installed for you. Okay. The testimonials themselves look like this. And I'm going to show you how to add it. If you're on a team, There is a team page that you can build that will show everybody on your team. Scott Leroy will have given you guys a download my app page that looks like this. This is a third-party website that I added. You can add all kinds of third-party websites. If you guys want to see how to add a third-party website today, I'm happy to show you. Some people are like, I don't need to see that yet. Show me later. So that's completely up to you guys. But this is just another example of a third-party website. I added the Keller Williams School of Real Estate website onto my own website, so that if somebody's on there, they have the option to look at the Keller Williams School of Real Estate. Okay. So go on your website, explore it, check it out, create yourself an account, either in your own name or someone else's name, and interact with it so you can see what that looks like. Okay. Because you have a lot of functionality here, and you need to know, one, what's it going to look like through the eyes of the consumer when they're interacting with it. Two, what's it going to do when you get those notifications, right? Because one person that I talked to recently, somebody saved the listing, right? They saved it like this, and then they asked to see it. So they clicked this schedule a video tour button. And they said they either wanted to see it today in the afternoon, or they wanted to see it tomorrow in the morning, or they wanted to see it tomorrow in the afternoon. And they asked to see it in person. And they left that agent a note, and they clicked schedule, right? And that agent didn't, you should be in command at minimum, whether it's in your app, or it's easier now that you have your app, 4 times a day. In the morning, obviously you're supposed to be lead generating. You should be taking notes in here anyway. Check it in the middle of the day, check it in the afternoon, and check it in the evening. Especially if you're running Facebook ads, if you're pushing out your website on different platforms, right? Because this person thought they asked to see this house. The agent didn't know that they had even done it. The message was hanging out right here in command. So all they needed to do was check that notification, and they would have seen the contact requested an in-person tour on 3801 Derbyshire Road. Right? So if you're going to use the pieces, make sure that you're checking it on the back end. So that's why I want you guys to make sure that you get in here and play around. If you're going to use it, right? Some people are like, I'm not going to use those websites. That's okay. But if you are, make sure that you know how they work. Make sure that you know what Keller Covered is. Make sure that you know what Keller Mortgage is. So if someone asks, that you're not like, I don't know. Let me go find out, right? Good. Questions? Okay, cool. So let's look at the back end of these websites and where you can change things. Again, you're going to click the last applet on the left. Okay. And it's going to default here to agent site pages. We already went into site and app settings, right? That's in the upper right corner. We changed out pictures. We talked about that. We can change out our background verbiage there. We can add virtual tours. We can go to our preferences and turn Keller Mortgage on and off, Keller Covered on and off, neighborhood boundaries on and off. That's under this general tab under site and app settings. The next one is your URLs. I get this all the time. I don't know what my app code is. It's right here under URLs in your site and app settings. I'm also going to show you, or I think I did show you on Monday, but I'm going to re-show you how you can share your app code directly from your command app on your phone to your contact.
You can't change the app code, can you?
Do what now?
You can't change that to like your name or anything, can you?
This right here is a KW identifier for you as an agent.
Okay.
Okay. You can change this. If it's not taken by another Keller Williams agent and you want winstonsalemhomesforsale.kw.com, you can have it if no one else does. You can just type it in there. The other thing you can obviously do, just like I tell you guys to go to kwtriadtechzoom.com, right? It's because I purchased kwtriadtechzoom.com. And then I took my Zoom link and pointed it together. So you can go to GoDaddy or Google Sites or any of those places and buy. And if you haven't bought yourname.com, go buy it. It's not expensive. That way that you are, even if you're not going to use it, you own it.
Is it one-time fee?
No, it's usually like, I've bought both of my children's names too, and I think it's like $12 a year. But I always recommend that people do that just because you don't know. Lots of people could have your name. My brother was actually on the news in Charlotte because we booked our beach vacation last summer, and he had to come down at a separate time than us. So they booked a separate house from us, and he booked it through not VRBO, Airbnb, and had it all booked and ready to go. And then they contacted him and said his background came back with 3 felonies and that they canceled his reservation. And my brother was like, hold up now. And it was because there was a Chris Perry in Texas that had 3 felonies, and they confused that person with my brother and canceled his Airbnb. So Airbnb has a big lawsuit against them for all of those people that has happened to. And my brother is one of those people. But things like that can happen with your name. I went to a closing one time in, I don't know, 2010. I don't ever use my middle initial. I always just go by Monica Perry. And a Monica Perry had a charge against her. This was an FHA loan. And they weren't going to let me attend the closing until I verified who I was. So I had to get them my birth certificate and my driver's license that showed my middle name and have it cleared off that it wasn't me that committed that crime. Right. So
did you just buy those through GoDaddy? Because I have a blog through GoDaddy, a blog domain, but I hadn't thought of just my
Google Sites, GoDaddy. If you already have a GoDaddy thing.
okay.
Like I bought my son's name, TysonHinkle.com. I mean, it's not pointing at anything. It's just purchased. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But the reason I tell people to do this, especially now, is because apparently there was an agent who shared a name with a person that had a website that was adult in nature. And so when people search for that agent's name, that's what they found. Just go buy it. Right. I mean, just protect yourself. Okay. So that's the URL tab. This is the featured listings tab. Do they have to be your own listings? No, because I sure don't have this 800,000 or $1.1 million home listed. But I did ask permission. So if you don't have your own listings, ask the other agents. Donna's a productivity coach. She knows other people are good with. Donna bought her name to you because, yep, name was purchased by another firm. It happens all the time. Featured listings, they pop up down here, right? They just give your website an extra little something. You can name it Laura's featured listings, right? You're featuring them, and you didn't say you listed them. You just said you're featuring them. Right? So that's where you add them. We're on consumer. We went to site and app settings. We are under the featured listings tab. Does anybody have an active listing that I can grab? If not, I'm going to run into Triad MLS real quick.
I have one.
What's your address? Sweetie?
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
I think it's 1691 Surrey Lane.
Oh, that's the one we were doing the other day when I was up there with you guys, 1691 Surrey Lane.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see here when I'm going to add a listing, right now it says only my listings and I don't have any. So I need to switch this to all. Did you say 1691?
I think it's either 1691 or 1611. Surrey Line, Line.
And it's one word, isn't it?
No, it's two.
Let's try 1611. There it is. So this is Donna's, right?
And by the way, anyone is welcome to advertise that listing, and you don't have to tag me or just advertise it like it's yours.
Perfect. There you go. So we hit select, we click done. I now have 3 listings being featured on my website. So I'm going to give my website a refresh real quick.
So we put it into a command, that's the website. Yeah. You can pull it up.
It'll take it a minute to update, but it'll pop up down here. And I'm wondering the same thing, Joseph, that I saw in your email. I did hear that they were having a problem with something on our websites. So this could be, it's not allowing the updates to push through because now it's not working. But normally it does work. But remember, I told you, technology happens, it will get fixed, right?
Does it, when stuff like that happens, is it usually like short term, like a day or a couple hours, or is it usually?
It depends on what it is. But
Okay.
anytime that you see something like this happen, if it doesn't resolve itself within a few minutes, tell me.
Okay.
Give me in a text, shoot it to me in an email, because I will go and turn it in to the technology people for you. A lot of MCTTs tell you to just go do it yourself, but I like doing it for you guys because then I can track it. And you get copied on all the correspondence and everything. And some of the stuff takes a longer time to fix, just like what I'm going to show you here in just a second, which is this guide builder here. That went down for about 3 months. It just, they couldn't fix it. But they said they fixed it now. So we're going to look at it in a second. Okay. But this featured listing thing and whatever's wrong with yours, I hope it gets fixed soon, but I'm going to reach out and make sure that we do. The theme, do you like red or do you like black? I'm sure this will have more stuff in it in the future, like that you can maybe like a different layout or format or something like that. But for right now, it's, do you want the logo to be red or black? Okay. Last but certainly not least, under site and app settings is the agent site pages. So once you build a page, okay, you have to add it to your website. So you guys saw under this tab for me, I had a lot of pages, but only a couple of them were highlighted as being turned on. It's from where I've just built pages for different stuff, right? And you don't ever have to build a page, but if you ever want to, I'm going to show you how to do it just real quick. We're going to keep it short, sweet, and simple because we're already at 1 hour, but I'm okay with that because we've had great conversations. So when you click on consumer, you default to this page, agent site pages. Okay. You're going to click create a page in the upper right corner. Boop. And you're going to choose, do I want to add a page to my agent website, what we've been talking about, or you can even create a standalone landing page. You have those 2 options. This will not be connected to your website. This will. Okay. I'm going to click create page. Within each of these pages that you build, you have these widgets over here on the right, and I'll show you what each one of them looks like. So remember I said there was a team page that you could add. I'm going to grab it and drop it. It'll say meet the team. You can edit this text. You can pull people's pictures in. That's what it would look like. If you ever build a team, you know, you can have it. If you're like, oops, I didn't want to add that widget, I didn't mean to, you can just click on it in the preview and you get a little trash can right there. Boop, gone. Okay. You also have agent profile. So I'm dragging and I'm dropping. And that's this one. We already have this added for us by Scott Leroy, but just so you know what it looks like, you could edit it to say something about something else if you wanted to, right? Maybe you also do a staging business or something. You could add an additional page and talk about that. Again, I'm going to hit this trash can. We have the contact form. That's always a good one, right? If you're building something, like when I show you in a second how to, or if you built one of those third-party site pages like I did, you might want to just drop a contact form at the bottom. So that's good for that. This is the testimonials in the form of a carousel. It's going to scroll, right? Mine is the list, the testimonials list. You have this company profile page. So this is that one where I talked about being an MCTT. So you could use this for a lot of different stuff, right? I have some agents that use this to talk about the areas that they work in this paragraph, and then they talk about their designations because they're like ABR and green home certified and senior certified and what's the military one? I can't remember that acronym. But anyway, that's what they use this for, and that's cool. You can use it for whatever you want. And then you have the testimonials capture form. So this is where testimonials get added to your website. Okay. And then download my app. Again, Scott Leroy's team did that for you. Okay. And now we also have content blocks. So for my third party site that I added to mine, I use this text box. You always have to have one widget. So I did use the contact form as my widget. And there is a way to go to the website, and then it sounds harder than it is, I promise. You go to a website that writes the code for a website for you, and you paste the website that you want to show up into that thing, and you hit generate code and it gives it to you, and you paste it in the box. And then you hit save, and then you have something like this. So all I did was go to kwschoolofrealestate.com, which is a website already, right? I copied it. I pasted it into the thing that writes code. And then I copied that code and pasted it into the text box, and boom, you get this. And there's that. I had to have a widget, right? So it was the contact widget. So you can do that for pretty much any third-party site. But what I'm going to show you guys how to do is the testimonials, because that's the most usable one, in my opinion. The first thing you have to do is build the capture form and get a testimonial before you can do anything else. Okay. So anytime you're building a page, always rename it. The first thing you want to do is build the testimonials capture. Give it a name. You're just going to grab the testimonials capture form and drag it over correctly. I'm letting go too early. There we go. Okay. See how it says widget not configured? You're going to click configure widgets over here on the right hand side toward the bottom.
My screen's not showing that. Oh,
See it? Can you see my cursor?
I just got to move.
Highlight it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Configure. And then you're looking at the preview right here. So I'm not Royals Realtors. I am Monica Perry. Last time I checked. Okay. So you can put your team name, you can put your name, whatever you want. Headline. There says, thank you for being about, no, I lied. Headline text. Leave Monica a review. Whatever you want that to say. Now watch what happens when I click save and apply down at the bottom. This updates to whatever I wrote, right? So I'm working on the right, I'm previewing on the left. So if I'm cool with it saying, thank you for being a valued client to help me to continue to provide the best service to you, If I'm cool with that text, I don't need to edit it. If I want to edit it, I can. Right?
Okay.
If I
So,
want to change this, I can. And if I want to change this, I can. Go ahead, Joseph.
I was just gonna say, you don't have to have a team to put your own name up there.
No, just drop your name in there.
Yeah.
Right, just like we were talking about your Facebook page name the other day. If you wanted
Mhm,
Joseph's real estate team, even though it's just you,
mhm.
I mean, you can put it up there. Right? Good?
Excellent.
All right. So you would make any edits you want, then you would click save and apply in the lower right corner to see the preview of what you did. And then you're going to click save changes at the top. So save and apply at the bottom first. Make sure your preview looks good on the left, and then click save changes in the upper right corner. It's going to say, would you like to continue to publish your page? You're going to say yes. This is now defaulted you to your site and app settings that we were looking at earlier under this last tab. So we've built the page. Now on the left, we need to click add. There it is. That's why we rename them. So we know that's the one we just made.
Mm.
We select it. We click continue. What's the page's title going to be? Leave a review. What's the slug going to be? So a slug is this piece, right? You have the website, and then you have that little piece at the end.
Oh.
That's a slug. So you don't put any spaces, right? It tells you no spaces, no special characters. So it can just be like review Monica, leave me a testimonial, right? I've already used that, but you get the point, right?
So we could build one right now, but we don't have to apply it till later.
Yeah, you can go in there and build it and just not add it to your website yet if you just want to practice it, especially because apparently they're down, right? They're working. Well, yours is not. Anyone who's existed is working for searching, but we're not able to change anything right now because something's messed up, and I'm going to figure out what it is. Okay. But that's it. That's how you do it. Then you would add it. Then the new page would show up in this drop down on your website when it's working. Okay. Questions? Everybody good? Good, good, good. Okay. So I want to look at landing pages. Hopefully these are working. We'll see. Landing pages are standalone landing pages, just what they say they are, right? So I got a new listing and I want to make a landing page for it. When you create a new page as a landing page, you have some different widgets than the ones that we have for our website. So I'm going to pick as a landing page and click create. Now I have agent branding, looks like this. Okay. I have the branded header, my favorite, looks like that. I have a lead form. I have a legal footer. I have the listing. It's long. Big widget. See? I have a market snapshot. Right? This is a fun Facebook post. Hey, what's happening in your neighborhood? Check it out here.
And those are pre-created by what do you call it?
Yeah. You don't have to like do it. You just hit the configure button and make it work. And I'm going to show you exactly how they all work here in just a sec. Your local expert looks like this. You could even embed a video if you wanted to. Again, you have the testimonials capture form. So if you wanted to make just a standalone page for testimonials, you could. And you have download my app, which we've already seen. It looks like that. Okay. You have the same content box. So if you wanted to do the third party thing and then put your branding on the bottom, you could still do that too. But I'm going to show you something that I like to make, which I think is fun. I just got a new listing. I'm going to do an open house this weekend. I hate paper and I don't want people to have to sign in on a piece of paper. Plus, if they sign in this way, it's going to capture their data and put it into my command database for me. And then guess what I'm going to do? Because I have my open house follow-up smart plan already added to my library. Once their contact comes into my command app, I'll be able to click on it and put them on the open house smart plan while I'm still sitting in the open house. Right. This is one of those things that shows you how everything works together. Right. So that listing widget that I showed you guys was really long. Right. So I'll show you what I like to do to build a page that's going to be a long page. Is I build it from the top and bottom, and then I put the sandwich meat in the center afterwards because it makes it easier. So I know I'm going to use the branded header. I want my face at the top. Okay. And I know I want my legal footer because I like to be compliant, and it's going to be at the bottom. So I'm dragging it over and I'm letting it go. Okay. So now I have the top bun and the bottom bun. Now I'm going to put the meat in the middle because it makes my life easier. So the lead form, if you were just doing this for a listing, I would say put your branded header, your listing, your lead form, your legal footer, right? But if I want to use this for an open house, I want my lead form to be right below my branded header. Then I'm going to grab this listing widget. Nope, I lied. I'm going to grab my market snapshot widget. I'm going to use that today. I'm going to drop it there. Okay. So now I have my bottom, and then I have this, and then I have this lead form, and I have my branded header up here. Last but certainly not least, I'm going to grab this listing. And you see where the green line is where you're dropping it. Boom. Okay. So now I've got all my pieces that I want. Okay. Everybody with me? I've dropped my widgets. I'm going to go find a listing that is in a neighborhood. I'm going to find something I'm familiar with. Obviously, if it was your listing, you would already be familiar with it. But since it's not my listing, I want to make sure it's somewhere that I know. Ardmore. Perfect. Queen Street. Who am I giving a shout out to? Ashley Lay and Associates. Ashley, I'm going to borrow your listing, and I know you don't mind because she's already given me permission. I'm going to copy this MLS number real quick. And 2340 Queen Street. Okay, so that's the listing we're going to use. So I'm doing an open house there this weekend. Okay. So now I've dropped my widgets where I want them. I'm going to click Configure Widgets. Header text. Welcome home. Okay, my picture's there, fine, name's fine, phone number's fine, email is fine. So I'm going to click Save and Apply on this widget. Boop. The only thing it's going to update is it's going to make it say Welcome Home at the top. Everything else is already there. So now I'm going to click this little arrow right here because I'm looking at widget 1 of 5. So I need to edit my next one. This is that lead form. Instead of it saying interested, let's talk, I want it to say, please sign in. Okay. Save and apply. Please sign in to my open house. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to click next and go to my listing. So I'm going to click browse listings. And I need to search for the listing that I'm doing this open house for. And I'm going to search by that MLS number that I just copied and pasted in there. And I'm going to click search. And it was a cute little blue house on Queen Street. There it is. Select. Okay. If I don't want the front exterior, interior photos are very trendy right now. So if you have a beautiful bedroom or living room or dining room or whatever, you could pick that to be your picture, but I'm just going to stick with what's already selected, which is the front exterior. Okay, that's all I need to do. And I'm going to click save and apply. It's loading. So now it says, welcome home, please sign in. Here's the listing. Okay. Looks good. They get to look at pictures. They get to pinpoint it on the map, right? So now I'm going to click forward one more to the market snapshot. This house is in Ardmore. What's happening in Ardmore? Okay. I know that Ardmore's in 27103. Obviously, if this was your listing, you would know as well. If it was a smaller neighborhood, Ardmore is not. You could just do the whole zip code, right? I could just click save and apply. And instead of saying what's happening in Ardmore, it could say what's happening in 27103. And they would see market statistics for that zip code. But since I do know that Ardmore is in 27103, I could find it. Why these aren't in alphabetical order, I don't have a question. I don't have an answer to that. It irritates me and I've asked for it to be fixed. I'm looking for the one that's just Ardmore. Boom. Save and apply. So now it's just, here's what's happening in Ardmore, right? And they get to see there's 8 active listings, average listing price, etc. Cool. Then they go forward one more. This is my legal footer. Everything looks right. Save and apply. I'm done. Okay. Now I can say that this is, I've already forgotten the listing address, 2340 Queen open house sign in. And I can click publish. Are you sure you want to publish it? Yes, I am. Thank you. So we're going to publish that page like so. And now it exists under my landing pages. 2340 Queen open house sign in. There it is. I can click on it to go see it. I can also come over here to the right hand side and click these 3 dots and I can shorten up this URL. I can only take out the gobbledygook at the end and make it 2340 Queen. So I know what it is. Boop. And so now it has a custom URL. So now I can take this and copy it and put it wherever I want it to be. Right on the, I can put on my Facebook page. I can text it to people. If you're sharing it with people, I would have put this interest form down lower instead of at the top. But since I'm going to be using this to sign in, I'm just going to look it up on my tablet. Right? So maybe I'll just like email this to myself or whatever. I'm actually going to text it to myself. And then well, maybe I'm going to text it to myself. This thing would speed up. My Zoom bar is in my way. Everywhere I move it. And yes, I text myself all the time because but nonetheless, now when I'm at my open house, of course I did that. I would have it on my tablet and I could say, hey, could you please sign into my open house? I've already sanitized the tablet. Here you go. If people are still COVID scared, right? And then when the person goes, yeah, I'll fill it out. And they say, you know, we'll have to go with a guy this time. Somebody give me a B name. I've used Brian. I've used Billy. Barry Buyer. Barry Buyers at my open house. Barry. And he's looking He's looking for a house in Ardmore. Need somebody's actual phone number, probably. It might fail out on me if I use a fake number. We'll see what happens. And then they're like, you know, can you leave us some feedback? Love it. Backyard is a little small for our family, but it could work. Right? He had to say, I'm not a robot. Hopefully this works. Yeah, I knew it was going to do it. And knows that's a dang fake phone number. Anyway, normally it would have just captured that lead. And just like the one that I put on my website earlier today, that doesn't have a phone number space, that doesn't require a valid phone number. It would have come in as a lead. It would have added a contact for Barry to my command. And I could have immediately put Barry on my open house follow-up smart plan when he walked out of the house. Right? That way I don't have to take all those sheets of paper and come back home and type them in to my command database. Granted, now that we have the app, you could sit there and, you know, type it in at the open house. But I've heard, oh, that's because I put 366. Dang it, Monica. I've heard that open houses have been busy though. So I don't know. I don't know if you'd have time to do that now or not. This is definitely fast, right? Then you can just take your tablet back from him, sanitize it, and hand it on to the next person. But, you know, I think it's pretty sweet. And if nothing else, you can just move this sheet lower and just say, if you're interested, please fill this out. And then you can take this link. You can go to Facebook and you can say, check out my new listing, right? Then they can click on it and then they'll get to look at all the pictures and look around at everything. And then when they come in off of those websites, it will also show you leads that came in from that specific landing page, which is cool. You'll have a list of them. So just a thought, just one thing of many that you can do with the websites. So any questions on landing pages? Good? All right. Cool deal. Let's pull up this app here. Bear with me. Come on. There we go. Not the app I meant to pull up, but that's all right. Same thing with the app on your phone. There it is. Looks just like your website, right? So this is what it's going to look like from the eyes of your consumer. And they're going to log in. You want to make sure that they're logged in. You want to make sure for yourself that whoever your test subject is, whether it's you or someone else, somebody you made up, whatever. Right now I'm being Dakota. Dakota is logged into his account. I am Dakota's agent. Okay. So go through, click on all the buttons. The account button, if you do set them up an account with their permission, you can say once you're in your app, you go to the more button at the bottom, the little person, and then you're going to click on your account, and then you can change your password. Remember, I made it your cell phone number. You can change it to whatever you want it to be. Okay. They can also access those places that they set up, whether they do it in the app or they do it on the website. They can add 3 places to know how long it's going to take them to get to any of those places from the house they're looking at. So go in here and explore the app. Okay. But the search looks pretty much the same. They can click on the houses. They can expand it. They can do a virtual tour if there is one. This one's open house Thursday. Did you say community pool? Right. They can see all the listing details. They can see that neighborhood web page that shows them all the different stuff. Right. the walkability score, those commute times from the three places that they added, the schools, the open houses that are coming up, and they even have a payment calculator. They can access Keller Mortgage. They can access Keller Covered. They can still ask you a question. They can see nearby homes branded to you, all that fun stuff. And they can schedule a tour and ask you a question from here. But again, if you're not going to be paying attention when people send those things to you, don't tell people to do it, right? Because if they click ask your agent and they type something in, you want to make sure that you're getting back to them, right? So that's what it looks like from your phone. And I want to look at this guide. So the guides, from what I've heard, they're editable again. I haven't looked at them in a while. The guide exists on the phone. It exists on the web, either one. Okay. So if they're buying, one of the things that I was notoriously bad for was taking phone calls from my clients at 10 or 11 o'clock at night when they had a question. We're in a different market, granted, but I'm sure today you guys are in a bad spot too, with buyers having to put offers in on so many houses. Don't do that. Don't set yourself up that way. But anyway, what people really want is information. So edit out these guides with all of the information you have. They just want to know what they need to know, right? So if they're buying, they need to get pre-approved. They need to, I added, I made sure interested in Keller Mortgage exists. They need to start their search, tour homes, make an offer, execute a contract. I added due diligence period. By default, it was called home inspection. But in North Carolina, I feel like due diligence period sums that up much better, because it's not just about the home inspection. It's about the radon and the pests, and sometimes a septic and all the different things, and sometimes a well, right? Sometimes a pool inspection. Okay. So I added that verbiage to my guide. And so if you have them edited out to your liking, then you can recommend them to your clients, right? So let's see, Dakota's looking at getting pre-approved. I put my local lenders in here because I do have preferred vendors, just like most agents, right? And so maybe Dakota already did this and he can mark the step as complete, but at the bottom, what's it say? Or you can click through to the next step and get great savings with Keller Mortgage. Keller Mortgage was a pre-installed step. I just left it there and I added this one so that I could add my favorite local vendors. Okay. Click next step. That takes him to the Keller Mortgage thing. He can mark that as completed and he can go to the next step. That way he knows where he is, right? Start your search. I don't think I edited a whole lot in here. I edited a little bit. Tour homes. Okay. I think I did add this. Keep track with photos and notes. Also consider keeping a list of pros and cons. I used to do that old school, y'all. I had sheets of notebook paper with me at my listings, and I drew a line down the center and said, write what you like on this side and what you don't like on that side. And I took that piece of paper from them at the end of the day, right? But now we can do better than that, right? And they can just keep going through and marking what they've completed, right? Here's due diligence. This is all verbiage I added. And because I love you, I do. I have all that stuff for you, and you can copy and paste it, or you can edit it, and then you can copy and paste it after you edited it. Okay. Google Drive, focus. Got this. Come on. Why is this being so weird? I feel like everything on the computer is being weird today. My apologies. Guide. It is easier, again, just like when we were looking at signatures earlier, it is easier to there it is. It is easier to edit everything out in these Google documents than copy and paste it over. Instead of working in the little boxes, I'm going to show you where the boxes are. But if you're going to use my stuff, read it. Please read it. Please edit it to yourself, right? These guides are fully customizable. Here's the answers article on how to edit it. I recommend working in this Google document to make your edits, and then copy and paste what you want into the guides. And everything in red is something I needed to tell you. I added the step get pre-approved. It did not exist. It was a step that I added because I didn't only want to recommend Keller Mortgage. I wanted to shout out my local vendors. So I clicked add a step and I pasted the stuff into it. Okay. So there's notes on here of what you can do. So this one is the buyer one. I'm going to drop it in the chat. Maybe if this will load. It's thinking about it. I'll take some water. Oh, internet. Why do you have to do me dirty today? Come on. Thank you. Awesome. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to drop it in the chat. Buyer guide. That's that one. I think I called it listing guide. Seller. Call it seller. Ha, there it is. And this is the selling guide. I'm going to share this one. Potentially, if it will work. Okay. Share. Sharing is caring. So if you guys come up with something as that you become the rock star agents that I know you'll be, share it with your friends, y'all. There's enough business for all of us. We're a win-win company. Seller's guide. Okay. So back to command under the guide builder. We're in our last applet on the left, the consumer. We're going to go to guide builder, and I'm going to cross my fingers because for the last 3 months of boot camp, this was not available. Okay. So to edit, you're going to click buying. If you're working on that one first. Okay. And then you're going to, I'm like hesitant. Oh, it's working again. So you can replace the image. This is the card subtitle, and I labeled the document as such. This is the card subtitle. It's editable. This is what mine says. This is the workspace text. It's editable, and this is what mine said. So I showed you where to paste it, right? So you just grab this. You know, this one is the body. Copy it. Go to the guide builder, paste it. Again, light a candle, put on some Frank Sinatra, grab a glass of wine, copy and paste, right? Copy and paste the stuff. Edit it in the document first. Like if you don't want to use Billy Reynolds, you're doing it's a mistake, but I'm just saying you can use somebody else. I'm just joking. I do love Bill though. Right, so edit it to your liking. If you don't want to add this step, don't add it, right? So I'm going to click X on this. You have an intro here. You can edit this if you want to with this right here. So all this is editable. And then the same thing, I'm going to go back. And then you can open the selling one like so. Right. So I changed this one too to DDP, due diligence period. That is a huge conversation you should be having with your people since you live in North Carolina and sell houses. Okay. So do you have to do this? No. If you want to do it though, there's your resources to do so. And last but certainly not least, I'm just going to go through and show you guys some of the cool stuff that our websites can do. Because tomorrow we're going to be talking about all things branding and marketing, including campaigns, which is how we get our message out. One of the things that is included in campaigns is Facebook ads, and those are the paid ones, but you could also use the same thought process for just doing the free social media post. And I teach a specific class called Hack Your Website for Bomb Content, because you can, right? And I'm going to show you how. So one of the cool things that you can do on these websites is you can search by landmarks. So y'all have heard we're a huge sports family. We love baseball and we like going to see the Winston-Salem Dash because it's fun. So maybe I liked it so much that I wanted to live close to Dash Stadium. I can search by landmark. It pinpointed the Winston-Salem Dash Stadium. I can scroll into that. Maybe. Everything is going so slow. It's driving me nuts. Sorry, y'all. Winston-Salem Dash. It usually takes me right there, but everything wants to be slow. Can y'all still hear me okay? Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm not, feel like my internet's like going to crash on me or something. It's so weird. Everything, I think our websites are just being weird. But nonetheless, you can normally like search for Wake Forest University or the Winston-Salem Dash Stadium or whatever, and it'll take you into landmarks, right? So from there, then you can like homes around the Winston-Salem Dash Stadium, walk to the ball game, walk to a restaurant, whatever it is. You can use that in your social media posting. One of my favorites, which please work for me, 27104. Can search by zip code. Okay. So now I'm just looking at the listings that are in 27104. Okay. Over here, I can click this more button like so. All the way at the bottom, there's price reduced in the last 7 days. I can turn that on. So now these are only the listings in 27104 that have had their price reduced within the last 7 days. Okay. So now that I've done that, I can copy this and I can post it on Facebook and say, view homes in Winston-Salem that's price were reduced in the last 7 days. I can run it as a paid ad. I can just do it as a post, right? Even more fun, do a whole city. Especially if you're in a more rural, why can I not say that word today, area, then you might want to do the whole city, right, in order to get enough listings to generate some hype. So these are all the listings in Winston-Salem city proper that have been reduced within the last 7 days. And not only does it show you that, it shows you how much. So those tricky sellers that reduce it by $100 to shoot it up to the top of the search results aren't getting away with that with you because you're a better agent than that. These people reduced $10,000, $4,000, $10,000. 36,000, right? So your clients can see all of this data. Could take it up one more notch. What if you wanted to hit the luxury market? $700,000 in Winston-Salem and most counties around us. There's a couple where it's 850, but most counties around us is 700,000 is the floor for luxury homes. Okay. So now these are luxury homes in Winston-Salem that have been reduced in the last 7 days. It's a Facebook ad, right? What about, I'm going to take it back to no minimum. What about if I hit more, it's almost spring, and I click pool? Right? I could take off the price reduction. And now I'm just looking at homes for sale in Winston-Salem that have a pool. Looking to cool off this summer? Here's a list of homes that are for sale that have a pool in Winston-Salem. Right? So a lot of people are always like, I don't have any idea what to post on Facebook. Here you go. Or I don't have a listing and I want to run a Facebook ad. These are things that you can do, right? So we're going to be using these websites just like this tomorrow when we're looking at campaigns. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that you could do this stuff with them, right? So any questions? We finished up early. I'm proud of us. 15 minutes to go. So it's your time. You can gain back 15 minutes or you can ask questions. It's up to you guys. Anybody? No?
Probably when I start doing stuff, I will, but I'll text you then.
That's fine. Was this helpful to you guys? Did you know that you had websites that could do all this stuff?
Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Go through, play. If you're going to be using these websites and giving them to people, use them yourself first, right? Oh, I've got one thing I want to show you guys before we end this. We got a super cool update. Remember, I showed you that your clients can do a search. I'm just going to do this real quick. Your clients can do a search themselves, right? And they can save it. Okay. So right now they're looking at their current location. They have the ability to draw on the map. I meant to show you guys this earlier. So they can say, I just want to live here. Because if you go on the other side of that line, you're going to be paying more than your house just for the land you're sitting on. Just saying. So they can draw that and then they can click save search. And they can call it like Old Sherwood area, whatever they want to call the save search, right? And they can choose to get email notifications instantly as soon as something happens, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So a lot of people are like, you know, I don't have neighborhoods in next door where I live. We just had that conversation, right? So the other thing that just got released, yes, your clients can do this and it'll show up that they did it. But the other thing that just got released over the weekend, and I can't believe I forgot to bring this up, so I'm glad I had 15 minutes left. When you're setting up your saved searches and your contacts, which we looked at on Monday, let me just get Dakota. Okay, so we're in our contact card. Okay, we're going to go over to save searches. I'm so excited about this. It just came out. We're going to click create save search. And we didn't used to be able to do this, so I'm happy about it. Right? Before we could only search by the neighborhood. Well, if you don't have neighborhoods in next door, that doesn't do you very much good, does it? You could also do zip codes, which was, it was okay, right? But what about now we have custom and we can click draw on the map, just like our clients can, and we can zoom in and out. So I know over here in this area specifically, if I can find it, Elkin and Boonville. What if they're like, well, I want to live in State Road, Elkin or Boonville? There are not a whole lot of neighborhoods out there. Not established in next door, I mean, right? So now we can draw like this for our client. And we can click apply like that. Okay. And then you can put all their stuff in, you know, maybe their minimums 300 and their maximums 500, whatever, right? Maybe they need a pool, whatever you want. Move my zoom bar again. Okay. I'm going to click next. I'm going to give it a saved. Boonville. Do y'all watch American Idol? When I just said Boonville, I reminded myself. I was watching American Idol the other night, and there was a girl from Whiteville, North Carolina, and they said, where are you from? She said, Whiteville. And they were like, Wyatttville. And she was like, no, Whiteville. And they were like, it was so funny. And I just felt like I sounded like that when I said Boonville. Anyway, you can now send notifications, boop, and you can do it monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, daily, instant by a safe search area on a map. So this is a way that you can get around the lack of neighborhoods in next door. Let's send one. I want to see what we get. See if we get anything fun. I'm so excited about this update. Come on. Yo, this internet speed's killing me. Dakota. It's like snail's pace. There we go. Monica Perry shared a saved search. Hi, Dakota. Great news. I created a saved search for you. I'd love to hear what you think about these homes. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. So this is what your client's going to get. Then they're going to be able to click view saved search. And they're going to get to see the listings in that drawn area. Yay! A new toy to play with. So glad I remembered to tell you guys about that. I always liked it. I knew that it came out, but I always like to test stuff out before I start shouting it from the rooftops. But it's working, which is good. But now I've got to go find out why Joseph's website's not working. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Tomorrow, we are going to look at designs, i.e. like a Canva-esque type program that's built into Command. And we're going to look at campaigns. So definitely by far my favorite day because it's the most fun. All right. All right. Hope you guys have a good day.
Thank you, Monica.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mike.